What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Dan Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hooker, and today's episode is my Week 6 reaction of college football. Let's get into it. First things first, Texas. We have a problem. Arch Manning's development as a quarterback right now is underwhelming, and his performance has been underwhelming. Because in games like he did against Ohio State, in games like he did against Florida, his performance doesn't add up to a team like UTEP or a team like UTSA, because I think his confidence for his ability to be a good quarterback in a system where it's quarterback friendly for Steve Sarkisian, who's an offensive guru who can make players open, who can scheme players open. Arch Manning has not delivered a bill in those big moments because A, like I said before, his development. B, his offensive line play. His offensive line play is amongst one of the worst in the SEC. So when I see these two bad things happening, folding in front of our eyes, can we say Texas might be out of the playoff picture? Because you still have teams like Georgia, you still have teams like Texas A&M still on the schedule. So when you see the schedule and you hear what's left on the schedule, can they make the playoffs? And my answer right now is no, because of the backfield. Because Arch Manning didn't pick up on enough blitzes to where Florida ran to where he could have made the pocket more cleaner if he picked up on the blitzes, checked to a different play, and get his guys in position to move the chains or to gain positive yardage. So Arch Manning is not there yet. Florida had 21 blitzes, 21 pressures, 6 sacks, and a 60% win rate without even blitzing. So what does that tell me? The offensive line has to be better. Arch Manning, you got to find a way, because they've invested too much money into you. You've been in the system for over 3 years now. So now let's see what you have moving forward, because this is a do or die time for Texas. And our eyes are going to be on you, and they're going to stay on you to see if you can help them win, or will you be the cause of the loss in their eyes. And for Florida, can DJ Lagway and Florida do it again to save Billy Napier? Because a win against Texas helps the program in a huge way. It can gain momentum to cause a winning streak, to make sure, hey, Billy Napier still might be the guy for this team, or this is just a riding high victory, and then they'll drop down low into the valley with a loss next week. So we have to see. But if Florida can somehow create some type of momentum within the SEC play and win a couple games straight, the talks will slow down for Billy Napier. But will they end? No, 100% not. And freshman wide receiver Dallas Wilson, elite. He's a monster with running after catch ability. He has great hands, good enough speed to separate from cornerbacks, and has decent enough breakaway speed. So when I see a team like that, shows me that they're still young, they still have growing pains, but they can somehow string along some wins and gain valuable experience. They'll be a hard team to beat moving forward in the SEC. Moving on, Penn State versus UCLA. One thing I can say, I would never take Penn State seriously because of how they operate when a moment gets big. Because when a moment gets big and it's a consistent thing. When the moment gets big, their stars start to shrink. And the star that starts to shrink in those moments, Drew Aller. Drew Aller did a good job last week, leading a comeback against Oregon, but didn't win. Now with UCLA, you lose on the road, and you lose not even using your arm, but trying to use your legs. That hurts the worst more than even trying to attempt a pass to get it to one of your playmakers or put it into one of your playmakers' hands to make the game closer, to tie it, and to somehow find a way to win the ball game. Because you just went to Los Angeles, lost to an 0-4 UCLA team that lost to New Mexico State and lost to UNLV. You guys made Nico look like a Heisman contender. He had 166 passing yards, 128 rushing yards, and 5 total touchdowns. You guys stole Ohio State defensive coordinator, paying him over $3 million a year. Now, you're looking at yourself. You have Indiana, you have Ohio State, you have Michigan. I believe you can go 0-3 against all three teams. And somehow, some way, you can beat Indiana and you can beat Ohio State. That Michigan game, you guys have a chance, but if that'll even happen, because the roster that is made in Penn State's locker room is one of the best on paper. With returning production, having first runners all across the team, and not having the ability to win a game against UCLA hurts. It has more eyes on Drew Aller and his question to win the games. All this immense potential that has been talked about. Everything that has been talked about him. But when it comes to games like this, he doesn't show up. I'm sorry, but he doesn't show up. Time and time again, Drew Aller doesn't show up. So the questions around him will grow even bigger because the rest of the season, you guys can't take no more losses, so you guys have to win out. And do I believe you guys can do so? No. So, Drew Aller, you are now playing for your NFL draft position. So, if you can somehow play up to the level of play that people know you can play, you'll be in the top 15. But if not, you're just going to be another first-round quarterback who was underdeveloped in college, and then they go to league. They'll look underdeveloped as such because you'll probably get thrown into the fire. So somehow, some way, you have to grow up quickly, be better, because you guys let UCLA interim's head coach have the same amount of top 10 ranked wins as James Franklin. And thing is, UCLA only had, 2 to 3 days to prepare because of all the turnover that happened in the building. And they came out and dropped 42 against you guys. Penn State, be better and find more ways to be better. And that's simply all I can say, because for a team that says they have a lot of culture, for a team that says they are obsessed with winning in recent years, that wasn't nowhere near a winning team that I saw this past Saturday. Next, Miami and Florida State. Florida State put up a good fight, but it was a little too late. But we got to continue the offensive line play. Offensive line play for Florida State was awful. They gave up 42 pressures, 2 picks. Ruben Bain had double-digit pressures himself. So what does that mean? The offensive line was not it. The offensive line was terrible. But on the flip side, for the Hurricanes, they only gave up 2 pressures. So when you can get a guy like Carson Beck out of the portal, pay him what you pay him, which is north above 2 to 3 million, and let him sit back and you let him slice and dice the opposing defense, Carson Beck will look like one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And he does. And he looks like one of the best quarterbacks, not named John Mateer. And we've seen it. And we've seen the connection that he's grown with CJ Daniels. And we see the connection he has grown with Malachi Tony, who's supposed to be in high school right now. So Malachi Tony went 7 receptions, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. When I see a stat line like that, in a big game like that, your quarterback trusts you that much to where he's targeting you that much, and you're producing, shows that you're ready for the big time. You're not scared in the moment, and you're ready to get lead wide receiver targets in a lead wide receiver role. But the thing is, what Malachi Tony does is that he approaches the game the same way every single week. Because in my eyes, I believe that he'll have a better statistical freshman season than Ryan Williams last year. Do I think he's more dynamic than Ryan Williams? I don't know. We have to see. But Malachi Tony right now has proven himself time and time again that when the moment gets bright, when the lights get bright, throw 10 the ball, and he's going to show up. So, with that, is Miami the ACC lock into the college football playoff? In my eyes, yes. Because the defense is now playing complementary football than what they were last year. And now we see guys flying to the ball. We see them create turnovers. We see them play winning football on that end of the field because we all know how dynamic Miami's offense is going to be. Because they want to run the ball with Mark Fletcher, but they can also throw the football around with Malachi Tony and CJ Daniels. So when I see that, I say to myself, okay, is Miami one of the best teams in the nation? Yes. Are they the best team in the nation? I can't say that right now because Ohio State still hasn't given up over 200 yards in the game so far. So with that, I have to tip my cap to Ohio State. But right now, Miami looks damn good. So then after, I have to say Malachi Tony is a name to watch out for. Because Malachi Tony and Dallas Wilson are leading this freshman class of wide receivers. And they look like certified ballers moving forward. So watch out for those two. And let's see what's in their futures moving forward. Last but not least, Alabama and Vanderbilt. Alabama beat Vanderbilt 30-14. Alabama answered the bell. Jam Miller. Alabama had their best day because of Jam Miller on the ground this whole season. 136 yards, 1 touchdown. Fantastic. Justin Jefferson on the defensive end. 14 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Guys on Alabama last year know what it meant to lose to Vanderbilt the next week after beating Georgia. And we saw on the media Diego Pavia saying, oh, we're going to go in, we're going to win in Tuscaloosa. He said a lot of things in social media to where that was probably played in the locker room of the Crimson Tide saying, we're not going to allow this guy to beat us today. We're not going to allow this guy to even have a good day in Bryant-Denny Stadium. And they did such that. We saw James Smith say what he said about Diego Pavia. And he has the right to say that because Diego Pavia dished it. Now he has to take it because we seen Diego Pavia walk out the field. The coach is trying to say he's just a kid. Brother, he's 24 years old. He gets paid north of $1 million. He's a grown man. So if he wants to walk, if he wants to talk like he's a grown man, he wants to talk like he's a certified baller, he has to walk. He has to walk the walk, whether it's a win or a loss, because the team rides on Pavia's shoulders, rides on the Pavia's confidence. And don't get me wrong, I love the confidence, but at some point in time, the words gonna catch up to you. and they're gonna get played right back in your face. So once I saw the final whistle and seeing Alabama players start, creeping their ways towards Pavia, I said to myself, well, that's what he gets. Because if you're gonna talk it like that, you're gonna pop it like down the net. They said the Alabama players said, "Oh, we're gonna see you about it," and they saw him and they won the game by double digits. So I have to commend Alabama for answering the bell, not having to drop off like they did last year, and now Alabama gets to move forward with their season. Let's see how good they can be. And on the flip side for Vanderbilt, let's see what your response is moving forward, because a loss like this can be, all right, well, guys, that's the season. We can now have a losing streak, or will it be, all right, that's 1 week, let's get past it, and let's move forward. So let's see what happens for the next couple of weeks for both teams. But overall, week 6 of college football was a lot of youth showing up, but also smack talk getting backed up, because there was a lot of it this past Saturday. And for my sake, I do believe this is one of the best college football seasons, just because of the fact that everybody has had a waning moment. Everybody has had a little trial and tribulation so far this season. So let's see what happens moving forward. But overall, this season right now, I rate it 10 out of 10. Keep watching college football. College football is one of the greatest sports that America has. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.